What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unitedverse, everybody. I am your host, Sean, and I am very, very excited to say that I am joined by co-host and hopefully, regular co-host Dylan. We're chilling with Dylan again. Everybody say hi to Dylan. How are you doing, Dylan?
Doing all right. How's everybody doing?
We are doing well, man. We're kicking off a new show here on the channel. And this is going to be called the Kickabout. And basically, what we're going to be doing here is the Kickabout is a place for co-hosts like Dylan and others, if they want to get involved in the future, to come, and we're just treating these topics like a football, and we're just kicking them around back and forth. It's going to be super chill, super laid back, super casual, but just that kind of vibe. You guys know that's kind of how the vibe is on the channel. Anyway, this is like that, just even more so. So I am excited to have Dylan back, though, and I think that with your guys' help, maybe we can convince him to make this a regular part of his week. We would love to do this on a weekly basis. Now, of course, that's not always going to be feasible, but it is what it is. But we are back, kicking off the brand new show. Welcome to the Kickabout. I'm happy to say that for the first time. Dylan, are you excited?
I am. I like this. This is going to be fun. When I saw the you sent me the preview slide just to get an idea of what was happening, I was like, Kickabout. I like that. That's a good name for this.
That was one of the kind of workshop titles for the channel in general a long time ago, but I started with obviously the MUFC versus everybody, and then changed it because that just felt like a little cumbersome to say. Actually, the first title was Attack, 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 but changed that around. So the channel has gone through a couple iterations, but we're going to dive in today. So this isn't like hey, let's talk about all the late breaking news. We were chatting about everything and anything that's going on right now. We're going to talk a little bit of Club World Cup. We're going to talk recent United transfer news. We're going to talk, current United transfer news. We're going to talk today, though. Our main topic is going to be talking about Omar Berrada, the interview that he did with Andy Mitten for the United We Stand fanzine. That is, you guys can always go check that out. They've got online subscriptions and whatnot. It is a pretty decent Andy Mitten. I got time for Andy Mitten, but they also sell them outside of Old Trafford on match days and whatnot. If you are ever out and about at OTU, hopefully we'll be getting there sometime soon. So that's what we're doing here today, everybody. So get involved in that chat, and we're going to dive right in. Let me start with a poll to get things started here real quick. Dylan, what you been up to, man?
Work, school, classes, all that, man.
It's still school? Is it not done yet?
No, just school, like my school and master's courses. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just
all right.
Staying busy.
Hey, working hard, man, and that grind is important. And I think at the end of the day, right, just kind of growth in general is important. I think that's awesome that you're doing that. That's going to be great, man, and it's going to hopefully open a lot more doors. I mean, you're already teaching, you're already doing some great work, and you got to be a special kind of crazy to want to teach that age group, because let's face it, kids are jerks.
Dude, this is our step. We both get our certificates and degrees, and then I be director of instruction, you be director of player development, like at United.
Dude, let's do it. Let's do it, man. I'm already my class. We got like a summer thing going on right now, so it's like a 4-week, like 1 to 2 hour class. But with this guy who works, his name is Daniel, but his job is basically career development for players and stuff as they transition from playing to what they want to do after playing, whether that's being an agent, going into director of football, coaching, whatever. His job is basically to help them kind of network. And so he and I got some one-on-one scheduled next week to go over mine, because I'm a little unique, right? Because I'm not a player. I live in the States, but I do have a very varied CV when it comes to football and mental health. So I'm excited to see it. I've always looked at it as a bit of a challenge going into this PFA course, just with all that kind of stuff. So it is a little bit different, but big up Lucky Singh. Good to see you again, my friend.
Lucky.
Hope you're doing well. Usman, back in the chat, man. Big up, Usman. Good to see you again, my friend. Box, everyone's getting involved. Good to see everybody back, dude. We are going to be talking all sorts of stuff. Box is already talking about Berrada. That's what the big topic tonight is. Yeah. We'll be talking to Omar. I got lots of slides prepared for you guys. Danny B, my Irish brother from another mother. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
B.
We got a brand new guy in here, or girl, football overseas. Welcome to the channel, first time. Yes, so as we dive into this brand new show, the Kickabout, where we are going to have regular co-host, make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you know. Check the memberships as well. You guys might have noticed there's no link for the UVE store. I am revamping a couple things on the storefront. The shirt shop that I use is updating and changing a couple of their policies, and I'm not sure how I feel about them yet. So I've removed them mostly for you guys, so you guys aren't getting shafted. But so the store is temporarily shut down right now until I maybe decide if I want to do something different with that. But you can also still go check out the GoGoalShop link as well. And then Fanatics, I just got this brand new thing in from Fanatics. Actually just arrived today. This is part of this year's, they call it the Urban Purist line. So it's got like the lines, kind of like the new shirt. This is like a purple and a lavender as well.
That is
brand new
fucking dude. That is.
It is pretty cool. I do like it a lot. There are links to Fanatics and Fubo as well, but Fanatics I think today also has like a $10 off coupon that ends tonight. If anyone wants to get anything on Fanatics, they still got shirts. They're legit. You guys know it's not like GoGoalShop or like a DH Gate. Fanatics is legit. So go check out Fanatics. Link is in the description. Dylan, you watching this Club World Cup at all?
Nope. I saw Bayern beat Auckland City 10-0. I was like, no, I was going to check out some of it, but I saw somebody in the chat say they'll watch the knockouts. So yeah, I might check out some of those. But
yeah, it's. I was listening to the Sirius yesterday, so obviously a day removed from that match, and they were talking. It was Charlie Stilitano and who's the old goalkeeper for the U.S. I forget his name now. They're always on there. You know who I'm talking about. So I guess Bayern's are ranked like 9th or 10th, right, in the world rankings, but Auckland are ranked like 4,000 and something. So I'm like, and they were saying that so Auckland, because they're like semi-pro, they're basically amateur club. Their players, it's like old school like Newton Heath. Their players also have full-time jobs, and so some of their players could not even make the Club World Cup because they weren't given time off from work. And I'm like, this is embarrassing, man.
Wow.
This is just absolutely embarrassing. Like they're out, Chelsea fans are out here celebrating beating LAFC. Like they've been a team for like 3 years. Let's relax a little bit about this Club World Cup. Like, yes, these teams are getting a lot of money, but let's not pretend it's anything other than what it really is. So I haven't watched any of it. I'm quite frank, I can't really watch it. A lot of it's on like streaming services I don't even get. So, and I'm not paying to watch the Club World Cup. You can, if you guys want to get Fubo, there is a link in the description for that. But so nothing, you're not watching any of it, huh?
No, like I said, maybe the knockouts, but I don't even know if that.
This just feels like they're just feeding these big clubs. Like they're just giving them like little nothing like preview. It's like you ever play like a boxing, like the old school NES boxing game where you start and you're facing like the crap people, then you build up to like Mike Tyson at the end, and so eventually it's going to be like City versus PSG or some garbage like that. But it's just they're trying to play it off. Now, I did read some interesting comments from the La Liga president. So La Liga president's he's been heavily involved in all sorts of stuff. So obviously he's helping the court, either the Spanish government or the Court of Arbitration for Sport. I can't remember now off the top of my head, but he's basically helping them try to punish Barcelona for all this Danny Olmo nonsense and whatnot. He's like all against Barcelona, but he is not a fan of the Club World Cup either. He said, "My goal is to ensure there are no more Club World Cups. We have to maintain the ecosystem and eliminate this." What will you agree with him?
See, I liked the old Club World Cup when they had like the 8 teams or whatever go in there. That was kind of fun. It was just a little bit different. And it was only for like a week or two.
Yeah.
It
was ridiculous that we shut down the transfer window for a week just so people could train and travel and prepare for all this nonsense.
Yeah, that's just.
Yeah. I'm not going to complain too much because the transfer window is open like a month earlier, but I'm like, this, like, it's just weird. Like, there's so many attempts to try to legitimize this thing, throw all this money at it. Let's make sure we shut everything down so people can't help but take notice of us. And like, but it has not gone their way because nobody's taking it seriously. Literally nobody. So many fans. Go ahead.
I just saw somebody had a post about City fans, and I think they were in New York or what, I don't even remember where, but it was like the stands weren't even half full.
No,
like
no.
which is normal for City fans. So they felt like they were at home.
Yeah,
But
they thought it was packed house. They were like, I've never
yeah,
seen this many fans in the world. Like, what? That derby we went to watch in Royal Oak, the brewery, is how they had more City fans or
oh
at the
yeah,
Etihad. Yeah, I think the Bayern game, it was like a stadium that held about 25,000. There were only like 16, 17,000 people
yeah.
in it. And the tickets are ridiculous. Like, I don't know how they get away with charging. Somebody said on the Sirius, like, there was somebody, I forget who it was, what club was doing this. I think it was an MLS club or something, but they were like offering like buy one ticket, get like four free just to get people in the stands.
Yeah.
I was like, this is embarrassing. Like this is a farce. There's nothing else I can use to describe this other than it's a money grabbing farce, and it's so like unashamedly transparent about that. Like we almost wish that they would just like how so the MLS does like a skills thing every year, or like every other something like that. You ever see that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why don't they just like just basically laugh at themselves and just turn it into a whole thing where we're going to do skills, we're going to do this. They could combine that with the soccer aid and make it just like a whole expo basically, and just say F it, we're just going to invite people. It's just basically an expo, a football expo basically. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
That would
I'd be totally down for that.
Yeah, at least embrace the circus part of it and just make it just all these different kind of things. But like
I'm
just
totally
the stubborn adherence to this perceived legitimacy of this tournament is just, it's laughable.
Yeah.
Football Overseas wants to know how to hop on. Dude, the memberships are the best way to do that. So the tier level, the Legends membership, does enable you to get that link. But go ahead, that's the way to hop on, my friend. Big up everyone. Danny says just watching it for the prospects. Didn't watch it today though. I honestly, when I saw early on, like last month, the clubs that were going to be in it, I literally just started laughing out loud. I'm like, come on, we've got Tunisian professional clubs in this freaking competition. I know that some people will be watching like Porto are in it, right? I don't even know.
Porto are in it.
So they've got some players there. Flamengo. I think the only one I was interested in maybe watching was like Flamengo, because we've been linked to a couple Flamengo players in the past. Palmeiras, maybe Richard Rios, we've been linked to again. But other than that, I mean, let's be honest. What is the poll saying? What's everybody saying here? It's pretty evenly split. I guess not evenly split. 2/3. So 6-7% of you are not watching the Club World Cup at all. Get involved in the chat, you guys. You guys are funny. Casper, welcome back. Casper, good to see you again. Good evening, all. Sorry a bit late. It was to have technical YouTube problem. Yeah, I think YouTube is having a little issues today. I was watching Rich's channel, and it was kind of doing the same thing it did to me once, where it wasn't letting me put chats on the screen. YouTube has issues like that now and then, but I don't know. We'll find a way to blame Trump for it, I guess. That's what we do. And there goes my monetization. So
you're going to cut it out right now. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's the greatest channel ever. No one has a better channel than me. Just get over it.
All right, that was sneaky good. Are you practicing that?
Was it? I'll take it. I will take it. Lucky says, I'm glad we told Mbeumo we want you to come embrace playing. Yeah, we're gonna talk Mbeumo. We're talking all of it. We're kind of doing a little bit of recap of some of the recent transfer news. It's a little bit of everything on the Kickabout. You guys know it's just it's super, super chill. Let me get caught up here. Buck says a lot of old prospects in it. Cavani, Sylvia. Yeah, if you want to walk down Nostalgia Street, Memory Lane, watching Boca, you get like 4 or 5 players from United form around there. He's just all the names Box is listing. Is Messi actually even playing? Or Inter Miami?
Probably if they make it to the knockouts, he'll be like, yeah, I guess I can go out there.
Yeah, I know that was a thing too. So I get it. I get the aspect of, remember, we used to have the International Champions Cup here, right? You remember that in the summer? Yeah. I went to a couple of those. I get it. Not everybody who you don't have to just live in Manchester to be in Manchester. There are people all over. That's why we do the preseason tours, and why we do. I get it. We're not in it, but I'm saying I get it. This is the only chance some of these people are going to get to see any of these players live. So I do get it. We have to at least want people to acknowledge it's not a serious tournament, but it is what it is. So but the tickets are so expensive. I feel like the people who can't afford to go overseas you're also pricing them out of even going to these things. Man, it's ridiculous here. Interesting stuff. So, any final thoughts on the Club World Cup? Because that's about the most I ever feel like talking about the Club World Cup, other than laughing at it every time I think about it.
Don't care. Maybe if United were in it, I'd care, but even
Yeah,
then, we talked about this before. Even then, it would just feel like glorified friendlies.
yeah. I mean, that's basically what it is. And some of our managers didn't even want to do preseason tours, and those are even a little bit more legitimate. Like that's just part of it. Like Louis van Gaal did not want to do preseason. Jose did not want to do them. Like, and I get it. I mean, I'd rather just do some stuff behind closed doors, but you got to get that cheddar cheese, and that's the way to do it. So, but big up everybody in the chat. I'm going to close that poll down because I don't want anyone to waste more time on the Club World Cup if possible. Make sure you're hitting that like button, guys. This is the kickoff show for the Kickabout, so glad to have Dylan back. Fixture list was released this morning for the upcoming season for Premier League fixtures. And we kick off the season hosting Arsenal at Old Trafford. That's about as Premier League gets, if I'm being honest. You know, United, Arsenal, Old Trafford to start the season. I mean, I didn't even see, is it the first game of the season, altogether?
I'm pretty sure it is the first match of the season, if I remember correctly.
That's crazy. That's like that. This is like traveling back in time 20 years. Like this is what this makes me feel like. Pretty up and down record against Arsenal these last couple of years, right? I mean, we did knock them out of the cup, but they do kind of have our number a little bit. But these first 5 fixtures are ridiculous, though, for us. Did you look at some of these?
Yeah, I looked. First 5, we played top 6 in the first 10 games or 12 games.
Yeah,
and I was we just got to survive. Got to survive. That Burnley match and the third match is going to be big.
Yeah, I think, but those are the matches I worry about.
I know.
Like Fulham and Burnley I'm like, ugh, these are the matches that we just struggle. How many of these Wolves, these Bournemouths, these Fulhams, how many of these teams did we let do doubles over? These Brightons and Palace,
West Ham.
Ugh, it makes me want to vomit in my mouth. So the first 5. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm going to put up.
I was just saying. Right, it's just the vomiting part. So.
First 5 are so Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Burnley at home, City away, and then Chelsea at home. It's not fun. I'm just going to put up a quick little poll. But according to Opta, we do have the most difficult start to the season out of the whole league. I'll put that on the screen for y'all so you can see that real quick.
Which could be a good thing for us. That might light a fire under them. Like that's the intensity you need for the season. I'm not even quite sure what to make of it because the first match is Arsenal. It's going to be hit and miss. It's going to depend on how everybody's fit and firing. Fulham, you never know. Burnley will probably lose just because that seems to be what we do when we play the low teams. And then we'll probably beat City. I don't know. We got the points are going to be difficult to get through at the beginning, and we just got to try to get something up.
I think for me, and I agree. For me, what this means is we have to get our business done early in the summer. We can't wait like we've done in the last several years and bring in someone mid-August, early August. I don't even want to see us bring in someone like as late as the 3rd week of July. I want us to get our business done, and this is why, because, and I put a poll out so you guys can let me know what you think. And Dylan, I want to know your thoughts too. Like, are you worried about a tough start to the season, or are you kind of someone who's like, well, everyone plays everyone twice, so it balances out, right? Are you looking at it in these kind of little 5 to 10 match spells as like that could really make or break something, or are you like it all balances out in the end?
No, I'm even though we get another chance to play, I look at each one of those fixtures as like, I mean, we ran into that a little bit. If we don't get some momentum going, I can see some of the team, if we don't get the right new additions, start to, we're not going to put their heads down. And then it's just going to be we're fighting just to stay up again. Okay, we shouldn't have to do that. If we get the players we're talking about, we should be able to have a first team that should contend quite well towards those European places. I'm not sure if we're going to get them, but we should contend for them.
Yeah, I'd love it if we could get like who. So Box is wondering 9 points from the first 5. I'm gonna say I'd say 7.
I had 6. But
Oh man, I thought I was
I thought
I was being harsh.
I'm a pessimist, so
after that first 5, it's Brentford, Sunderland, Liverpool, Brighton, Forest, Spurs, Everton, Palace. I mean, Sunderland, I mean, they lost arguably their best player as well. Brentford were taking their best player, and they lost their new manager. Of course, new manager bounce is always something to hit us, though. Yeah, we cannot wait until August to sign players. Danny says, I think 10 points. I thought I was being a little bit realistic and saying 7. You went even lower with 6. We got Box saying 9. Danny's saying 10. Danny's usually the one who's a little bit more reserved too. So I don't know, Danny. I want what you're smoking today. Rajat, big up, Rajat, big up, man. I put it in the poll. What is everyone saying out here? You guys worried about the rough start? Now it's pretty even, 60-40. You guys get involved in that poll. Do you worry about that rough 5 games, or do you think it all just balances out in the end? You guys are being very optimistic, and I'm not. I mean, I like it. I really do. Like to think the Arsenal match is a harder one. Danny says this too. We have a good window. Yeah, and that's going to be the big thing. It's not even just about the players. It's about when we sign them, in my opinion, because I think that has been our Achilles heel so many years. You need a preseason. You watch any of these, watch the overlap, watch Rio's show, watch any of it, and they'll tell you how important it is to have a preseason. Amorim didn't get any preseason. He barely got time to train for those first few months. I mean, and usually you've got international tournaments that throw off the preseason as well. So we're very fortunate. It's rough. So, but the fixtures have been released. You and I have been looking at them a little bit today, thinking about maybe trying to plan a trip. I've looked at a couple dates. So the FA Cup fixtures and the Carabao Cup fixtures, those are going to be released next week, because that's when they release the championship schedule, and we don't enter the FA Cup until the 3rd round, I think. Right? Is that correct?
Yeah, Premier League clubs enter in the 3rd round,
and then the Carabao Cup 2nd round. So FA Cup we won't start till January. Carabao we do start late August, and so it's going to be interesting, because you guys know that I don't like going over there unless I can get games within a couple days of each other, and without European football, that does make it difficult. So there is a date where there are a couple Premier League games within the week, but I'm going to be banking on some of these domestic cups, and then we're going to lose AFCON players this year. Some of the African players that we have in the club are going to be gone mid December through January as well. So that's going to be a big blow. Guys like Mbuemo, Ahmad, who else? Mazraoui, yeah, there you go. Onana. We'll actually probably win all of our matches. Yeah. Somebody just toss his passport in the bin. But yeah, so we're gonna be missing players. And Oshiman, is he African, right?
Yeah, Nigeria, I think.
Nigeria, that's yeah. So if we sign Oshiman, that's another one. So our big striker will be gone. So this is why it's important to have maybe 2 strikers. But AFCON goes on, and so the matches we have during the AFCON are Aston Villa away, Newcastle, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, and then City. Those are the matches we could be missing some of our best players, honestly. Mbuemo, Ahmad, Onana. It's not fun. Tim, 1999, big up. He says, I'd rather we played the top teams when they had midweek Euro fixtures. I like where your head's at, man.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
Yeah, we put up that question from a boot a couple weeks back regarding like Champions League or even just cup competitions as well. If you remember that question, it was, do you want an easy draw or do you want to say you beat the best to get there? I am of the camp where I'm like, I want an easy draw. I want the easiest road to the final, like hands down. I don't care. This is why you know that Jamie Carragher's full of crap too when he talks about the Champions League being the best. Some people might differ, but I'm like, you don't even have to play everybody in the Champions League to get to the final.
You remember 2 years ago when or 3 years ago now when United got drawn into Bayern's group, and they had that Kate Abdo clip. Or I can't remember what her last name is now, but where she was just like distraught because she's a United fan. I was watching that live, and I had the exact same look on my face. I was in a meeting at school as I was watching it. Somebody goes, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "I'll be fine."
Yeah.
And then next group, Galatasaray. I'm like, "Of course we got to go play in Turkey."
Yeah. That's
Every time.
never fun. Didn't make a difference though. They got us at home too. That was rough. Kate Abdo. I didn't know Kate Abdo was a United fan. I knew I liked Kate Abdo for some reason. Now I know why. She's a United fan. We got an Arsenal fan in the chat. Big up AFC.
Yeah. Gallagher was giving her crap. He was laughing. I was like, go to hell.
Yeah, why don't you go spit on someone, Jamie?
Yeah, there you go.
Gavinoff. Compose View, welcome back, my friend. I think our performance in the first few games will give us an idea of what to expect at the end of the season. I think so. Hopefully we have all our business done by then. I'm going to be we'll do a video towards the end of the transfer window. We'll be kind of rating the transfer window, and we'll be kind of giving our predictions and our expectations for the season. But I do think a lot of that's going to depend on the transfer window. And we're kind of rating Ineos a little bit as well, how they did during that whole thing. So we got a kind of another little shakeup, obviously, this past week with Wilcox stepping into that director of football role. Vavell's position has been made permanent as well. So it's all kind of pretty much the same as it's been going since Ashworth left, but now it's kind of official. So it's just it's never boring at United. I'll say that. Box says Embuemo probably comes August 31st. So that'd be a nice little birthday present for me if that happens. Now remember the window closes September 1st, I think, 1st or 2nd. Yep. I can't remember off the top of my head.
September 1st.
And is it? So we have an agreement, a little like, I don't know if it's official agreement or like a gentleman's thing with OGC Nice to not do any business until September. So technically we could see someone like Bolka come in deadline day because it would be time. Who knows? We could be sneaky like that. So Box says it's been nearly a done deal for 3 weeks on Embuemo. Yeah, we like the I don't know which one I'm kind of getting more tired of reading about, the Embuemo deal, the Gyökeres deal. The Gyökeres thing is just, the Gyökeres thing's annoying. I think I'm moving on past Embuemo because I'm like, it's pretty much a dead cert. So I'm like, I've already moved on mentally, right? How are you feeling about Embuemo? I haven't had a chance to talk to you really about Embuemo yet.
If I've liked Embuemo watching him.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he, in fact, before who's the striker they had that Brentford had that they shipped out to Saudi?
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, I actually liked him better than Ivan Toney.
Yeah,
I thought he was more of a, like, Tony was like more of the target man, the fast guy. And Embuemo kind of fit their system. He seemed like more of the not necessarily link up play, but somebody who's going to work hard for the Tony. I could get, not that this is a bad thing, having a little arrogance there, but I also got like the diva mentality. I'm like, we don't need that. We don't need any more guys like that. But I think Embuemo on the right would be huge.
Yeah, a lot of people on the channel.
A
lot of people in the chats over the recent weeks think Embuemo is going to play in that right 10 role with Ahmad shifting to that right wing back role. A lot of people think that's where Ahmad is best. And Embuemo's kind of played all these roles. He can play as a striker if he needs to. He can play in that 10. He can play wide too. And so it's nice to have a little bit of versatility from all these players. Dorgu can play left and right. We've got Cunha can play striker if needed. He can play as that 10 as well. Bruno can play a couple different roles in midfield. Even Kavi as well. It's nice to have that. So it means if we get injured, somebody can pick up the slack, basically, which we haven't had in a long time. This is the problem with specialist players versus, just all-around players. It's an age-old debate. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer there, but it is nice. Jarl, welcome. Embuemo will most likely arrive start of July, he says. Striker, on the other hand, August 31st. Everyone's really wanting to give me a nice little birthday present on August 31st. We need to sell before we get the striker, yeah. And that's been the hard part. We're haggling with Sporting over fees because it's about priorities. And I think it seems like we're trying to just outscore the mistakes that Onana concedes at the other end of the pitch. But welcome, Yarrow. Good to see you, my friend. He says our front three could be Bruno and Bremo Cunha. We could do fine without a striker. I would argue we would not do fine without a striker.
We already played without one this year. So.
Oh, shots fired. That's the way to
And
endear yourself to the community.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Hoyland. I got so frustrated there at the end.
Yeah.
Like this stuff.
It's just, his confidence was in the mud, man.
Oh, yeah.
It just wasn't. You get the feeling you could have given him like back-to-back 90s and he might not have scored anything. It just was not coming off more, man. And it was just, but it was like that. It was just not a good season all around for everybody. I mean, we didn't score a whole lot of goals. We missed a lot of chances, and it just Bruno's got to bail us out all the time, and it's just not happening. Boxing, like everybody's having a nice little chat here. I like it. Fixture list though, you excited? Anything you're really looking forward to? Excited for Leeds to be back? Proper rivalry going on?
As long as we win, yeah, because I don't want Leeds to have any sort of bragging rights. It's all the War of the Roses thing. As a history teacher, this is very important that we don't let the White Roses win.
Can't remember. So they were relegated. I know we beat them pretty handily. I remember Scott McTominay had a couple of really good goals against them. Had they beaten us at all when they were up before?
Nope, they never beat. We drew.
Yeah, so we drew.
That game that Scott had, that was the first one. We drew the second one. I think we drew the third one, and then we won the last one. So we're undefeated since they were up.
Interesting. And they, I'm trying to remember if they have, who they have off the top of my head. That they don't have McKennie anymore. Their striker went to Brighton. Mm-hmm. Can't think. Unyanto, I think that little winger is pretty good. Dan James, right? Isn't Dan James at Leeds now?
I think so. I don't think I know there were talks of him being transferred out somewhere.
Oh yeah, the guy can't. He was one of their best players this year.
Oh yeah, let me look. I don't think he actually did. Yep, he still plays for Leeds. So
yeah, he was one of their best players last season. So all right, well, nice little reunion for Dan James.
Box helping us out there. We beat them 6-2, 5-1, 4-2, 2-0, and we drew 0-0 and 2-2. So we've played them more than I thought.
Interesting. So we haven't lost though, so that's good. Yeah, I remember that 6-2. That was a good one.
That was a great one.
That was a good one. Rajat sticking up for Hoyland, and I mean I've said this about Hoyland many times. The coach isn't really playing to his strengths. He isn't comfortable playing. Yeah, and I've said that too. But at the end of the day, Hoyland's never going to be a player that you're going to build the team around. And so he's also young enough where he has to really start adding a couple strings to his bow as a striker. He can't, and I agree. I've said it many times. Hoyland likes to have space to run onto. It's just the way he likes to play, but that doesn't excuse just the horrific touches and stuff that he was committing in midfield. Even if you watch him on international duty, you guys don't know, I don't read too much into international football because especially when it's not World Cup or Euros, I just don't care that much. But it's just, I worry if that kind of poor form has now gotten deeper, like a splinter or something that just keeps digging in a little bit more, and he's got to shake it. If that means maybe he's got to go someplace else, whether that's on loan or whatever, or if being the backup striker at United, which is really what he should have been, maybe if that's the key. The problem is he's got that number 9 shirt, and if we're signing a big striker, Hoyland's not keeping that number 9 shirt. It's just the way it's going to be.
I'd prefer Hoyland getting a loan because, you've seen my jersey. I want Hoyland to do well. Yeah, I'm frustrated with him, but
yeah.
I think a loan would be better for him. I think we could still develop him and do even as a second striker, like you were saying. Maybe being the big top striker is too much just at this stage, or it still needs to grow a little bit. I don't know.
And that's where I think we did fail him a little bit because it wasn't. We were trying to get 2 strikers. I don't know why we thought we would. Our budget for Hoyland was 60. We went over that, and for some reason we were heavily linked. Thought we could get Harry Kane. That was never going to happen. I wanted Marcus Thuram. I wanted him the year before that in January. But instead, we got Wout Weghorst. It is what it is. I can't complain about it all the time, like a kid who didn't get their favorite toy for Christmas. It is what it is at this point. But again, it's such poor planning. When did we ever had a 20-year-old striker as our main striker at United? What team does that if your name isn't like Erling Haaland or something? That's just not fair. And so we know the pressure of that, of whether that was at United or not, the pressure, I mean, that's a lot for any young player to carry. So we didn't really allow him. It was like the Michael Jackson thing. We didn't really allow him to be a 20-year-old. Really, we kind of turned him into an adult real quick. And at least he's not like bleaching his skin and freaking out and has a pet chimpanzee or something. But
yeah,
it is what it is. For those of you who don't know, that's what Michael Jackson did. So, Lyle, welcome back, Lyle. Good to see you again, my friend. Says not staying too long, but you got him. Like, big up, Lyle. Well, thanks for coming checking out the Kickabout, man. It's a new show on the channel. I'm glad to have Dylan, and it's super chill, man. We're just having a good vibe. Chris Coopsy, I like it. Dylan the villain, done some filling. Now he needs penicillin.
Saw that. Straight, like, yes.
Straight chilling. Going out back, doing some grilling. God willing. Hey, look at that.
All right, we're starting a rap group now, guys. We got this.
There it is. I like it.
But it's going to be like early '90s rap.
Oh, okay.
Old school.
Like some Run DMC. It's tricky.
Yep.
Dude, don't diss. That's like the best karaoke song ever. Other than Friends in Low Places. Favorite karaoke songs out there? What's your guys' go-to? Hit me with it. Dylan, what's your go-to for karaoke?
I'm a country boy up heart, so I pick country songs.
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain High is always good.
Friends in Low Places is a classic one. I feel like that one. I like to go with Gets By with a Little Help from My Friends by the Beatles. I think that's a fun one. Nice. You can get people involved in that one, right? You can get your friends up there with you. That's a good one. But yes, Tricky is a good time if you just want to look cool. I mean, if you think that knowing every word to a Run DMC song is cool. I only know that song because I used to play this snowboarding game for PlayStation a long time ago. And that song was in that a lot. Yeah, right. What's everyone saying about these fixtures lists? I want to see what this poll is. All right, so a lot of you guys are worried about these first 5 fixtures. You think that a rough start could do. Here's a question though: Would a rough start to those first 5 fixtures do you think that would be enough to really put Amorim's job at risk?
Not based on what I've seen. We are going to talk about later with Berrada's interview. Yeah. I think even with that, I think he'd be safe.
I mean, he has to be. We can't. This is the thing. I mean, this is just my opinion, but I feel like there's more evidence to support this opinion than there is to go against it. I mean, we've looked at it. We'll just look at the last 12 years of United, and you'll see. But like, you have to back the manager, especially in a rebuild. And rebuilds. When was the time any team started a rebuild and it went well like immediately? It doesn't happen. It does not happen. City's rebuild already started. I guess you could really just a build already started before Pep got there, and he didn't win anything his first season. How many years did it take Jurgen Klopp to challenge anything? Arteta, what the hell is Arteta even doing? Chelsea don't do rebuilds.
No.
And we have never done a proper one since Sir Alex. And so there's always going to be a couple seasons of rough road when you're doing a proper. I've used the bow and arrow analogy so much. You got to go backwards to go forwards. That's part of it. And I worry that this fan base is just not going to have the patience for that. I think for me, it's about timing. If this would have happened right away after Fergie and we had just the season we just had, I think fans would have been a little upset, but that was the first. But now we're 12 years on, and I think people are just like, they're so tired of it. Like, they just want us. But to be honest, our worst years have been better than Arsenal's best years. So it is what it is.
Still got more trophies than the last 5 years.
Dude, Arteta is so garbage, man. Chris Coopsy, this guy's voice is deeper than Sam Allardyce defender at Jose. Is it you talking about me or you talking about Dylan / Christian Eriksen? Who are you talking about?
Going to Portugal this year, so just watch out.
Yeah, oh yeah, you heading to Portugal? Is that what's not back to Ajax?
I don't know. I still don't have a concrete deal anywhere.
Yeah, right. I'm here all night, brother. Kiss, love it, getting in there. Lyle, that's the way. Tricky. It's tricky. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I used to play that. I would play all the little characters. You learn all their moves. I did that thing. So I remember you had to like go through the training and you had to do like every single move perfectly. and then you would unlock other stuff. I sat there for hours one summer because that's what you do in Michigan in the summer, right?
Because it's too hot to do anything.
Dude, y'all, it's gonna be 100 degrees starting next week, man. Like I'm
all
not.
week.
It's 98 degrees on, and not like the boy band, like no, straight up 98 degrees. I just aged myself a lot just then.
But Are You and Rising?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
That was one of their album titles. I remember seeing.
Oh, that's so lazy. Oh no.
I remember because it said 98 degrees and rising, and I was like,
oh no.
Are we sure this isn't a weather?
Oh man, that's so bad. Oh, the 90s. I love the 90s. I'm a 90s kid, but at the same time, it was so cheesy. You remember Jenko jeans? You remember that junk?
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Those are huge.
Jenko jeans, bleach blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, puka shell necklace.
I forgot about the puka shell necklace.
Everybody had the puka shell necklace, man. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Like, why does everyone have to walk around looking like they just got back from a vacation to like Hawaii or something? Right. It doesn't make sense. Oh man, I'm just going through the chat here. We're gonna dive into this Omar Berrada stuff soon, but I did put one last poll on here while we're talking about the start of this season. So you guys get involved in the chat. Make sure you're liking the video too if you guys are digging the Kickabout a little bit. Does a rough start put Amorim at risk? So far, 71% say yes. Interesting. That is interesting. Now, is that your bias, your recency bias kicking in, or you think that just based on what you've seen, a rough start put Ten Hag's job at risk, didn't it? And he got all the backing that you could get.
But he was with Ten Hag. I mean, we're talking about last year, right? We're not just talking about like the other, like
yeah.
He. It felt like even after the FA Cup win, he still didn't have control. I mean, they had those reports coming out that saying he was going to set the team up differently before the FA Cup, I forget who talked him out of it. And I was like, that doesn't necessarily bode well for confidence with your team. That's just my thoughts. If that report was true.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the FA Cup final, that was some of the best we played all last season. Oh, yeah. Personally, we dominated, or not last season, the season prior, but I thought we dominated City until Doku came on, and then kind of that pace and that trickiness really got to us. But we controlled that game. I wish I would have been able to watch. Honestly, the quarterfinal was the best game of the season, though, for me. That was just
that match. I still go back and watch the highlights when I need to cheer myself up.
Yeah.
I watched the Garnacho Ahmad breakaway.
Yeah. Oh. That was so good.
Yeah.
What we got here going on in the chat? Lucky, we are with Ineos team. We are with the manager. Oh, you might be in the minority there, Lucky. Not a whole lot of people in the community are big Ineos fans. There's a lot of people who aren't super big Amorim fans. So it is. Casper said, if we don't sign players, we will have a bad start. Now that I agree on. I believe, and this is just in general. This isn't even just. You need to do your business early. For the longest time, it's just felt to me like United has waited until the window opens to just start the planning process. Almost like it's like you can get deals done. Like there were years when Dortmund would get summer signings like announced in like November. Like I remember they got a left back a while back, and I'm like, wait, it's November, and they're already saying like we've signed him. I'm like, what the hell is happening? We're just so reactionary for the longest time because people who aren't trained and really qualified to do the job we're doing the jobs, and it's really been a big contributing factor, if not the biggest contributing factor, if you want to like broaden the lens a little bit and where we are right now. So Rajat does not rate Amorim that much. Big up. What is happening? Chris is out here singing songs. She's the first, she's the last, she's my everything. Who is that? Is that a 98 Degrees song?
No, not that I know of.
Is anybody getting involved in
I don't know.
Their karaoke? Box, I did look at Oscar Glauc a while back. I think I held off on that because of the political stuff. I think he represents Israel. Is that correct? So I thought it would best. I don't get involved in politics that much. It's not that I don't care. It's that I care too much that I would have the time it would take for me to go and cross-reference and look at every all the news out there to make sure I'm not getting any. I don't have that kind of time, so. And so I thought it best just to give that a wide berth. But he's a good little player. But he, unfortunately, just in this day and age, that would come with a little bit of baggage. But what are you going to do?
I have the chat hook pulled up here, and Chris goes, "It's Barry White," and I was like, "Yes, it's Barry White for that song." So,
oh, is it?
Thank you, Chris.
Nice. Compose View says he does like Amorim as he exudes confidence compared to Eric Ten Hag. I think Ten Hag was just very Dutch. Not to be like, and this is not xenophobia. Like, I'm not saying about it. He's just very matter of fact, very straightforward, very blunt. Now, a lot of journalists who've talked to Eric say that he's actually very funny. But I think maybe it's just there was something. There was like Eric Ten Hag and the media and stuff. Just it was just a little off. Like. They weren't quite vibing. And we know like Louis van Gaal hated all the preseason tours. He hated that kind of stuff. And I kind of get that little bit of vibe with Ten Hag, especially with the interviews. Mm-hmm. Like we put up the numbers a couple months ago, how many interviews that Amorim has had to do. And it's ridiculous at United, the kind of media demands that you have to do. Mm-hmm. So, I gotta go scroll down, get caught up. I am caught up. Look at that. Look at me go. Kudos. So, Omar Berrada, what are you guys saying here? 50-50 split on does a rough start put Amorim at risk? I'm going to end it there and give it a draw. So, all right. Is it my voice that he said is deep? Maybe I have to drink some more water. Your voice always sounds different in your own head than it does out loud. So, to me, it doesn't sound that bad. But Lucky says, aim for next season, win matches, get top. If we get top 8 after this season, I will celebrate it like it's a trophy. I'm kidding. No, standards. We have standards here. So obviously the big news this week, Omar Berrada, who, in my opinion, starting to like talking to the press a little too much. But like you just said, you have to do that at United. But it's not because he's talking. It's just that like I can't tell if he's saying these things that he's saying because he believes them or if he's saying them just to say them, if that makes sense. This whole like 2028, these project this and thing that, I mean, a lot of the stuff that he's saying is just, you'd expect that from anybody. But he spoke to United We Stand fanzine, specifically Andy Mitten this week. That issue hit stands, but he is still pushing the belief, Berrada, that we could win the league by 2028. So, this is what he has. We got a lot of slides to go through. So you guys, if there's anybody who didn't really get the main points, we'll have them up on the screen here. So this is what he's having to say here. We just finished 15th, and it seems impossible. But why not aim for that, this Project 2028? I firmly believe we can achieve it. We have 2 or 3 summer transfer windows to build a team that is starting to be competitive to win the Premier League. Do you think 2 or 3 windows is enough?
I don't know if it's to win the Premier League, but I definitely think 2 or 3 can make us competitive. Up in that 4, top 5. There's a lot to get rid of, and there's a lot to change. There's a lot to make sure that things are going to get better. So I don't know if we can compete. It's going to depend. Like if everybody has a down season like this year, besides Liverpool, who fuck them.
You can say it. We don't care.
Yeah, I don't know if you get demonetized for that stuff. So
no, it's only like if you do it like a lot, or if you do it right away, like first couple seconds. But if you watch other channels, like we are rated G compared to some of these other channels, so you're good, man.
But I'm just like, it's just if that can happen, we definitely have a chance to win. But I think 2 or 3 will definitely get us to competing. I don't know about title winning. There's just, like we were saying, just so much rot and things to fix.
When you say compete, what do you think that means? What does that mean for you when you say compete? Because it might mean something different for somebody else.
So I can handle a loss when it seems like the players put out their best efforts.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
And too much with the players that we have in the team, it seems like they either start caring when it's too late, like 80 minutes are up, like, oh, I guess we got to start playing. Or the goal goes in and they just stop playing, and they give up. And then they go into halftime or a 60th minute, you put the new players on that kind of get it back. But it's like you can't have that happen. And that's the frustrating part for me, and I don't know if there's enough time or if there are enough buyers to change out some of those players.
So you think? So you when you say competing, you mean like a mentality thing?
Yeah, we're like I want to. I forget. There's some coaches that want to be mental monsters. Like I want them to go out there. I want them to impose their will.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha. So what about when it means competing for the league? So when this was so like I put this comment up here. So Omar is saying wanted to start being competitive to win the Premier League. Jarl's saying he's saying we can compete for the league, not that we win it. So when I hear somebody say, when I think of competing for the league, I think like that, like kind of like what Arsenal, where you're pretty much top two for the entire season. Like competing for the league means you have an honest to god chance of winning this, or you lose it by a couple points. Basically, that's what I think when I think competing for the league. Not just we're scraping in the top four, or like that. To me is not competing for the league. I would take top four in a heartbeat right now, contextually based on what we've been doing, but so I think we're talking about two different things there. But I agree. Yeah, we definitely need to be competitive, and yes, a big part of that 2 or 3 windows to do that. And I think what you're saying it's kind of like culture, changing the culture within the club, within the dressing room, that mindset, kind of getting people who want to fight for the badge, things like that. So I hear you. Now I think that is a big part of it as well. I definitely don't see us winning the league. It would take, because it's not even just about what we're doing. We're so far behind in a rebuild, and everyone else who's already well into their build process, like Liverpool, like City, Arsenal even, are already so far ahead of us because they started it and they stuck with it despite early rocky roads. And we just have to get our foundation back before we can even start comparing Christmas lights or something like with everyone else. Like it's just and that's been because it just was never done right the first time. And so it's not even just about how well we do in the summer, because we're always going to be playing catch up until one of these clubs just has an absolute meltdown. Like if Arne Slot just collapses once, like Salah, Van Dijk, and Alisson and all these guys leave, once he loses too many of the good players. But the problem is Liverpool are at that process now 10 years in, where all they have to do now is, their team is so stacked and there's so many winners. All they do now is just replace. They lose one, they replace them right away. Like that's what they're doing. They've got Marmardashvili waiting in the wings when Alisson leaves. It's just they just signed Florian Wirtz for crazy money. Because that's what they can do when you get to this part of a rebuild process. Look at what City signed 8 players since January. That's embarrassing. They're literally just going like this to the league. They're come at me, bro. We don't care. Yeah. Their starting 11 of lawyers is more expensive than most Premier League starting 11s, man. It's embarrassing. They've got a lot of lawyers. Yeah, Mudryk, I heard today was charged another 4-year thing. That kid's career is done. And you got to think, like, he's a teenager. I like to think that being that young and sometimes I mean, you're not a medical professional. You're not really supposed to know that stuff, but you should at least. Who at that club thought that was a good idea? Like, I blame Chelsea for that more than anything.
Well, they were buying too many players. They couldn't help them all.
It's just like I don't. Yeah, it's rough, man. He's so young. That's just his career is literally taking like a 5-year hit.
And he's Ukrainian too, so he's dealing with all that stuff, like with family issues and stuff. Like I'm not surprised he's trying to make things better and keep his career going, but yeah,
he just killed it though before it even got started. Yeah. That's so bad, man. Chris says the only coach who won 3 at the back in the Premier League was Tuchel. Didn't Conte do 3 at the back at Chelsea?
Conte, I thought, did 3 back in 2017.
Didn't Sarri kind of continue that as well? I want to say.
Chris says that.
Chris says only coach, and a whole lot of established players didn't have last season. Yeah. Variations of 4-3-3. 4-3-3 requires a lot from your 6. And your 6 is a big part of that. And you got to have really good midfield. Your midfield makes or breaks that 4-3-3 personally. So I don't know. Bruno could probably do that. Manu in the 8. I don't know if anybody we have can do the 6 properly. I think Casemiro's too slow now, and Ugarte, I haven't seen enough of him on the ball that of quality on the ball in that deeper role that fills me with the confidence that he can do that. his progressive numbers have dropped in later on in the year. They were decent at the start of the season, but yeah, I like the fourth. I think we could easily do a 3-5-2 at United, and you
Okay.
pack that midfield because we're losing the midfield battle physically wise 1v1. So we'll just pack it with more numbers, in my opinion, and I think that we win that battle. You add another midfielder, you wouldn't even need to necessarily go out and spend money on number 9 right away if you did a 3-5-2 because you throw Cunha and Mbeumo in the front too, and you'd be fine. But I'm not in charge, so what are you gonna
Not
do?
in charge yet.
Yet, I wouldn't want to be a manager. I would. The press conferences would break me. I'd walk into a press conference with a blank check, and I would say whatever I want, and I would just tell the PGMOL, the FA, just tell them tell me how much I owe you. Let me write you a check because I don't care. I have no filter, Dylan. You know I can be a savage. I don't really care. Some people need to hear it. That's my job in life. That's my job at a football club. Just director of keeping it real. So this is not the only thing Berrada had to say. Like I said, we got a lot of slides to show you guys. So he was asked about backing Amorim, and he was asked about the decision to hire him. So you get The Athletic, right? You have a subscription to The Athletic, so you probably saw a lot of this already. But some people didn't see it. Let me go back to the. So in terms of getting Amorim in, Berrada said we saw it as an investment for the following seasons because we're going to give time to Ruben to get to know the squad, the club, the Premier League. So by the time that we got to now, June, we'll have had all the discussions about what does the squad need, the 2 or 3 year plan to get to a squad that's capable of winning the Premier League. But there's that thing, that 2 or 3 year plan to get to a squad that's capable of winning the Premier League. That's a big, big challenge to put down.
Oh, yeah.
Berrada said we have a very clear roadmap of how we're going to get there. Had Ruben started on July, we wouldn't have been able to have all that knowledge, right? So he's saying like it was better to get him in now in November so we can have the season to really see. I didn't really think it needed this long to see. Anyone with 2 eyes and half a brain could have seen what was needed already. But and then Berrada says, and that's what I feel these 7 or 8 months that he's had. He's suffered in the Premier League, and then the team has suffered. That's why we feel that it's going to really help us in the future. Interesting stuff. So would you have preferred to bring in Amorim in the summer, or are you happy with the way it went down?
I mean, I'm happy that it seems like they actually have a cohesive plan, and it could all be just, talk too, but that seems like more of a plan than what Woodward or anybody else had before him or Taw. Like, and I understand that. Just having him bed in, get to know the squad, kind of get the foundations going. I like that more than trying to implement that in July when we don't necessarily have a clear plan of what we're going to be doing. I like the fact that we went and got Cunha right away. I like the fact that we've got some other deals going that are going to kind of bolster that part of Amorim's attack, and we know what it's going to look like. So we can kind of help out with that more, or help out. We can recognize it more, see what he's trying to do. I do like that plan more. I don't know. I mean, if I'm Amorim, I'd probably be upset just because you had to deal with that for 7 months.
But, yeah, but that's why I feel like, because we already knew all this, everything that he would have been upset about, we already knew. And it wouldn't have taken long for him to ask a couple of coaches. He could have just jumped on the channel and watched a couple of videos, and he would have seen all he needed to see personally.
He probably did.
The data, I mean, yeah, why not? The data was there. The coaches who have been there were there. Like, I just don't see why. And this is why I said when it came in and people were like, oh, everyone gets a clean slate. I'm like, no, they don't. These players don't get a clean slate. They have been doing this for too long. And we already know that some of these players, we still had guys that were Louis van Gaal signings. We still had David. Do we have some David Moyes signings still? No, we didn't have David Moyes signings still. Louis van Gaal signings still at this club. Jose Mourinho signings still at this club. We have Luke Shaw still, Lindelof. Like, we know who can fit. We know who's just not up for it. We knew all this. It didn't take long. Unfortunately, wasn't much we could do about it. We did do a little bit in January, not as much as we needed to, but January is, I mean, you're never going to get what you need to in January. So it is what it is. Chris says the only advantage of a 3 at the back is getting 2 strikers up there. Xerxes could drop back and let Cunha and hopefully Mbeumo run past. Yeah, and that's what I like about Xerxes. He could kind of be a little bit of a linchpin, but
that I like because the way Xerxes, I see him. That's what I see his role being is that linchpin to get the forward progression. Drop Bruno back a little bit, put Xerxes in that kind of middle pivot, and I think he'll do well there.
I think Bruno is gonna be played a little deeper in this system, which is why I don't think we're scrambling too much to bring in a central midfielder, even though we've been linked to a few. I think that's planning for the future, kind of like what we did with left backs last summer. Remember Dorgu? We were linked with Dorgu and Kirkes a year ago. So it's not like that was just a Amorim thing. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing hey, Ruben, who do you want? Like, that's not how we're doing it anymore. He gets a say, but we're going the Liverpool route where this is how we want to play as a club. These are the players we think do that. Plus, there's a Venn diagram of Amorim players we want to have at the club for the way we want to play. Whatever's in the middle, that's where we're looking right now. Whatever that little part of the Venn diagram is called, that's what we're looking at. Yeah. And I think that Amorim is a part of the rebuild, not the starting point of it. So what are you guys saying here in this poll? I put a poll out. Would you rather sign Amorim in November or wait until the summer? Pretty much 83% of you so far are saying earlier is better. I agree. I also don't think it would have taken this long, 7-8 months to see who was good and who was not. But again,
I agree with that.
Maybe I'm a little harsh. I don't know. I think I like this. If I'm harsh, I think I'm at least fair about it. I give everybody the same energy. So it is. You guys have seen the way I've defended Hoyland, and then it didn't take like that. I was like, no, I'm done. Like, and that's it. It's just the way it is. So what else did Omar have to say here? So he was also asked about this whole notion of like suffering in order to kind of prepare for the future. You know, that short-term pain for long-term gain, or like that bow and arrow analogy. So this is a long one. So he said this: I think we probably underestimated the time it would have required the team to adjust to the system. You underestimated the mentality, as Dylan said, the physicality or the quality of the squad is what you underestimated, guy. Like I said, we knew that by bringing in Ruben mid-season that it was going to be even more difficult for the team to perform. We've taken all the short-term pain in this season, but as of this summer, the worst of it is going to be behind us. We will have settled the team, the management team. We'll have settled the coaching team and with the technical team around them. And on the football side, there's a clear idea of what we want to do, what the players we want to get, how we want to see the team playing, how we're going to integrate academy players. I like that part. Yep. How we're going to go and invest in future talent. I like that part too. He says, I sit here today and I'm actually very optimistic and quite positive about what's ahead. Of course, we need to get a lot of decisions right. And we will make mistakes. You can't afford to make too many more, buddy. You guys have already made a few. There's no doubt. We'll try to minimize those. Good, because you guys are... I don't mind mistakes. It's the accumulation of mistakes that bug me. Getting like the Ten Hag thing, fine. The Ashford thing, okay, now we're stacking up. Okay, now we've got all this other... Like, you guys are starting to make too many mistakes. Now I'm questioning your judgment here. Mm-hmm. He says, but what we want is to build something that's sustainable for the long term, right? It won't be easy. Nothing is going to get solved with one summer, but we are on the right path. We've put the worst part of this transformation phase behind us, and now we're going to start building, and I'm very confident that we'll get back to the top. So he's saying it's only going to get better from here. Are you buying it?
No, I think there's going to be some suffering with this.
You're funny. No. But you don't think the worst is behind us, huh? You think we're still
I think we'll get better as the season goes on, but I think there's going to be a period here where we're going to have some real tough times, and that's going to be the moment. Is it going to click? Are they going to dig down deep? Is the team going to become the team that we know they have the ability to be, or are they going to do like they've done in the past and wilt? I mean, we know we've got players that can play. Bruno, turned down $100 million to stay with us, and he fights, but even he gets into those ruts sometimes. We just gotta We just got to make sure that when we get to that point where things are going bad, we don't let it affect us.
Yeah, that's the resilience thing. And I did a whole video on resilience, just mentality,
Mm-hmm.
last season because it was a problem even then.
It's
Um, and I think, like you're saying, it has a lot to do with just the players we have. We have a lot of very good technical players. We have a lot of experienced players. We do not have a ton of mentality monsters. We don't have a ton of resilience. We don't have a ton of these players who can push through something. We concede a goal after like a bright start to a match, and heads drop everywhere.
Yep.
And it's just, and you wonder. This season, I thought we showed a lot of fight to come back, like Lyon and stuff. I thought that was very good. I mean, we got to a cup final. That's literally 4 cup finals in the last 3 years. That's nothing to sneeze at. Like, let's be honest. And it was progressive cup final. It was Carabao Cup. It was Carabao Cup and FA Cup, and now it's Europa League. Like, it is an upward trend. Now we shit ourselves a little bit against Spurs. To be fair, I think that's half between the players and half Amorim takes responsibility for that. But I think that the only way you can look at that now is it has to be a learning experience,
Yes.
and Amorim's really got to get his team selection right. That was one of my big bugaboos for the longest time. We did that New Year's resolution video. Like, you got to get your team selection right. You got to stop putting false hope in people. You got to stop tinkering. It shouldn't take this long to know who's got it and who doesn't. And I think that the final kind of showed that. So Casper says, I'm not buying Berrada's comment. Long-term pain coming. Uh-oh. Chris says, out of all the United misfits, I'd say Anthony could turn it around. Diallo has proved right wing back can still be a creative goal scoring position. And I hear you. I think Anthony has everything that Amorim looks for in that right wing back position. He wants left footers. He wants players. And like, Anthony does pitch in off the ball as well. I just don't think. I think it's 2 things. I think that the badge is a little too heavy, and I think that the Premier League is just not the best fit for Anthony personally. No. And it's like that for Sancho, and it's starting to feel like that a little bit with Højlund at times as well. Sometimes it just is what it is. Just the physicality, you're not going to get away with as much as you do in other leagues. Anthony was a world beater at Ajax, and you look at him at Real Betis. You don't get that in the Premier League. You just don't. Chris says both can play right wing back and right 10. Yeah. Lucky says fans need to calm down a little bit now. I think some of them do. Jarl says the only problem with Anthony, gave Ruben the finger after he was forced to play right wing back. You guys are funny. He was also asked Omar Berrada about Cunha. Now, we all love Matthias Cunha. We're super excited about this signing. Dylan, I haven't even had a chance to ask you about Cunha. How are you feeling about Cunha?
I'm excited. We mentioned it when the transfer, like before it was official, we kind of talked about it. And I think some of the ingenuity that he can have, some of the thought or the play that he has will really work well with Bruno. I think that'll be a good link of play. And plus, they both speak Portuguese, so they'll be talking on the field.
I need the relationship that he's going to have with Dorgu is probably the one I'm main concerned about, because Cunha does drop deep a lot. He does do a lot of progressive runs. He gets the ball a lot, oftentimes in his own half, and he can carry it forward. There's a lot of link-up play, a lot of carries on his own, a lot of runs. And Dorgu is going to be a big part of that, because they're going to have to learn each other's the way they play. They're going to have to do that link up. You see it with like Shaw and Rashford when 22-23, it was like in sync, right? Another boy band. There we go. See, look at that. We're on our second boy band of the day. We'll see if we can, if we can get another one in there like seamlessly in the conversation. That's awesome. But I want him and Dorgu, I want them to be roommates on these tours. I want them to drive the training together. I want them to eat in the canteen together. I want them doing everything together so they can get linked up. But Omar was asked about Cunha, and he says he's a player that I think fans are going to love. He's a playmaking, attacking midfielder. He can score goals. He can make assists. I think he's going to lift people off their seats. He's got a bit of swagger about him that people are really going to like. Dare I say, Cantona-esque. That's high praise, and that's a challenge there. Praise. He was an important one to get done. Go ahead.
Just saying, I'm like, can't ask if he pulls it off. Shirt idea.
Yeah, right. If I once I get a new, I have to figure out what's going on. Um, Berrada says he was an important one to get done. We're going to do best to do more signings quickly. So he's kind of putting out again a little bit. He's holding himself to a standard. He kind of it's out there now. It's in writing. You know,
Mhm.
you're doing more signings. So Embuemo on the way, possibly a striker. Who would you take for striker? I meant to ask you that.
Um, I mean, me personally, I would rather almost keep Hoyland and get a central, put that money towards a central midfielder because
Mm,
we'd rather. I would feel better because that midfield has
interesting.
been an issue. I know we need having a target man would be good, but I think we could switch that up with playing Hoyland up front or play the two up front with Embuemo and Cunha, and then have Xerxes be in that one behind it. I think that would be um, very positive for us. But
Yeah.
if we did pick a striker, um, I lean toward Gyökeres just because he has the familiarity with Amorim's system. But I
Yeah.
hesitate because I don't know how well he'd do in a more physical league.
I mean, he did really, really well at Coventry before he went to Sporting. He had tons and tons of goals at
Yeah.
Coventry. So I think he can handle it just fine personally, but it is what it is. So what were you guys saying? I was waiting for Danny to come in with with a comment with a disparaging remark. Jarl says, all day I've heard other shows rage about Berrada say Cunha is like Cantona, and that's not what he said. Oh, yeah, I don't think, and that's the thing, and this is the hard part you get with football fans sometimes. The moment you make any sort of comparison, like somebody was on the channel, I forget, they were talking about how many times Bruno loses possession, and it's fine to talk about it, but at the same time, look at the players throughout the last decade who lose possession a lot, and like Messi's up at the top of that list. Like, and but I say that, and then the whole conversation turns is, you're now you're saying Bruno's like the same as Messi. I'm like, that's not what I said. I took the thing that you said, the metric that you're using, and I kind of added context to it. So yeah, I don't think Berrada is saying like he's as good as Cantona. That he's like, I think he's like literally like we just saw. You say it on the screen. He's talking about the way the swagger that he has,
Mm-hmm.
the attitude that he has, and we saw that from Cantona. I mean, it just is what it is. So yeah, you're gonna get that. People will isolate one part of what you say. They'll take it. It's a logical fallacy. So it just is what it is. I would say what it is in Latin, but I can't remember it because the moment I took that exam in my master's course, I forgot it all. Who really needs to know Latin? Let's be honest. I mean, let's be honest. But um, Casper says, "Well, hurry up, Berrada, and sign some players." I think they're trying. I think honestly, they're working out a structure with Brentford. I would just like us to not do one at a time.
No,
You're allowed to multitask. So, but whatever, it is what it is. That whole not wanting to run to the wrong decision thing gets on my nerves sometimes. But and then finally, to close out, I mean, these are some of the highlights. You guys go read the full thing if you want to, but I was just focusing on the highlights. Omar admitted that he did have to apologize to the staff this season. There's been a lot of layoffs, a lot of cuts. There was only supposed to be one round. The initial promise was one round of cuts, but he had to apologize because they had to make more rounds. And this is what he had to say. And he said, "It's true. I stood up when I announced the second round, and I apologize for having said that in September. We did not foresee at the time that the finances of the club were in such a bad state." Are you buying that,
no.
Dylan? Why not?
I mean, we all knew it wasn't great beforehand. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing for me. He's like, yeah, we didn't know. I'm like, come on now. You've seen the Glazers run the team into the ground. Like you had to know they weren't telling you everything.
Well, and this is the thing you looked at the books
Yeah.
before you did it. It's like you don't just buy a house without going and walking in it. You get your inspection, you get the appraisal, you get all of it. These guys were able to look at the books, they knew everything going into it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know where they get off saying like we didn't know. Like you knew. You knew. Now I can see how that didn't happen. Like when I joined Livonia City as a board member, I was just a volunteer board member. I had no skin in the game financially or anything. Like I was just there to help out. I didn't know how big of a financial shit show they were in, but it wasn't my problem. because I wasn't buying the club. Had I bought the club, I would have done my due diligence and I would have ran the other direction. But so I can see that. But at the same time, this is why I've said it many times in the channel. Like, you signed the paper, you took ownership. That means you did inherit the debt. You did all this stuff. So I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of we didn't know. We don't want, like, you knew.
Yeah.
It was right there. We knew. Like, you didn't have to look at the books. You could have just like listened to some Kieran Maguire podcast or watched a couple fan channels or something, and you would have learned everything you needed to know. Like, I guess I say that like it sounds arrogant. I don't consider myself, when I say you could have watched some fan, I don't ever consider myself as part of that. I've only been doing this like a year. It's not a big channel. So just put that out there. I don't consider myself among that kind of stratosphere yet.
Next
like
year,
you did,
10,000 subscribers.
Dude, if we get to 3K before the season, it's going to be, I'm doing giveaways. I'm doing all the giveaways. I haven't done the giveaways in a while because I did a couple and then like the winners didn't get back to me when I reached out. So I just figured people maybe weren't interested anymore. So I stopped doing them, but we did several early on. So Dylan, am I correct in saying that you were rocking one of the UVE shirts? Did I see that earlier? Yes.
Yeah.
The OG.
Trying to get there we go.
The OG green and gold. Awesome.
Had to wear this.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't wear any of mine today. I should have worn a jersey. It's so hot up here. The jersey would have felt better.
If we go over there, I'm repping this stuff every day.
Oh, yeah? If we go over there, it'll be in December, so you're probably going to want to wear a couple more layers than that.
No, just that's how I get their attention. Just shorts and a T-shirt.
You got the hoodie. You got the hoodie, though. You'll be all right.
Oh, yeah. That hoodie. Oh, man. You guys know I love that hoodie. I wear it around.
Yeah, he does love his hoodie. Yeah, yeah, I'm all about it's going to be cold, especially, so you're going to want to be comfortable. It's all about the shoes. Make sure you get some good waterproof boots, but we'll do it right, man. We'll be doing it right. So any final thoughts on Omar and any of the, I mean, like I said, we didn't go through the full interview. We would be here forever. We just went through some of the highlights and things. So Chris Coops, he's loving the green and gold. Big up, man. Yeah. There used to be a UVE store. I temporarily shut it down because the site, the storefront that I use, the website, they're making some policy changes, and I'm not sure if I'm fully on board with a lot of them. So to make sure you guys aren't getting the raw into that, I temporarily shut it down just until I figure that out. So apologies for anyone looking for that. So, so good. Sorry.
No, I'm just going to say, just like we were talking about, he's acknowledging there's going to be mistakes. I like to hear that. Like, you're not just going in thinking you're going to get everything right. But like you said, those mistakes have piled up a little bit. So they got to make sure that if they make them, they fix them quick and they get the big decisions right.
Yeah, we can't afford too many more mistakes.
Yeah.
This has to be a very good transfer window. Like, and I don't just mean buying the right players. We have to move on some of these players because they're just vampires on our wages and our finances. Of these players, Anthony, Rashford, Sancho, Casemiro, even you could throw in there. That's literally over $1 million a week just in wages alone for the four of them. Like, that's whoever was in charge of these contracts needs, like, they're obviously already gone, but that's criminal what we were doing. That Sancho one just boggles my mind. What was the plan for that? $300K a week. He flops and you're out all that money, which is where we're at. Or he does well, and then you've got to give him a raise 2 years in up to like $375K a week. Like, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. It's so bad. Big up, Rob. Good to see you again, my friend.
Rob, what's up?
Hope you're having a good day. Cass says it's having a heat wave. It's a heat wave here, my guy. Summer in Michigan, dude. It is rough. All right, let's talk a little transfer talk, you guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button for me. How many likes are we up to? Let me refresh this and see where we're at here. You guys know I like to see where we're at. We're going to talk a little bit of transfer stuff just to kind of recap some of the majors. This isn't like a transfer recap. Honestly, there's not been a whole lot of news, and you guys know that I would rather forego views and likes in lieu of doing basically what amounts to the same video 3 times a day. I respect you guys too much to sit here and rehash the same rumor 4 or 5 times. So that makes me boring. If that means we only do a live show once every other day, it is what it is. It's not, you guys know I love hanging out and chatting with you guys, but basically it's just the same video with a different thumbnail, and I'm running out of Gyökeres thumbnails. I don't have any more to put up, so Lucky's trying to give us an update here. Sorting out final payments, bid £55 million, £62.5 million bid on that on Buemo. Anthony Santos, yeah, Garnacho is a big one. So Dylan, you would prioritize a center midfielder over a striker. To an extent, I could see that we're bringing in goal scorers. Now, I've said many times we need goal scorers, and I was very careful to say not always that meant a striker. Now, I do think we need a striker, but I thought it was more important that we have goal scorers. And I think that Cunha and Buemo, fit and firing Ahmad, Bruno, I think these are the goal scorers that you're going to get. Now, a striker, I'm not going to say no to a striker, but I can definitely see how we can spread the goals around a little bit more. We got attacking threats from a lot of different areas of the pitch now, which is great. Before, if you shut down Bruno, you shut us down. Like, Ahmad's injured, we only have Bruno to worry about. Ahmad's constantly double teamed. Like, they know who the threats are. Now we've got them coming from all over the place. We can get these switches out to Cunha. We can get switches out to Mbuemo. We got Ahmad, who can pick the ball up in his own half and carry it. We've got a lot of areas now. Now, I'd like to get another progressive ball player from midfield, like a Hayden Hackney or somebody, but we'll see. We make a couple sales. You never know. Maybe we could strengthen even more. Written, welcome to the channel. Writing. Do you think we can get Mbuemo? I think Mbuemo is pretty much done. I think I think personally we're just finalizing the fee and the structure of that fee. I don't think there's much more than a couple million that we're haggling over. I think we'll probably get it done. What's today? Wednesday? I think that'll get done before the weekend's over with personally, but that's just me. I think that the more we're seeing striker talk, I do think that means that the Mbuemo stuff is pretty much wrapped up, but on your center, we've been linked to a lot of center midfielders. There's just not been a whole lot of movement. It seems like we're kind of keeping an eye on something, and it does kind of give me this impression that while it's not the priority, just like goalkeeper, I don't think goalkeeper or defender was priority. I think it should have been, but if the opportunity presents itself or we make a couple sales, I wouldn't rule out us signing a center midfielder. We've been linked to a few. It does seem like striker is the next thing on the list after Mbuemo. I don't know what this means for Højlund. You'd say you might keep him. I would, if you were doing better, I could see him playing as a 2, but there's so many links to like Inter Milan that are heating up this week. Who knows anymore? But it's just one of those things. So Højlund, he can't be our only number 9 going into next season for sure. I did read. Am I correct in reading that George Mendes is now getting involved in this Victor Gyökeres situation?
When I saw that come across my transfer ticker, I was like, "Whoa, okay,
interesting,
that's big news." So
yeah, so you bring him in when you want the deal to get done.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is that now? I wonder what that is. That for we have a decent relationship with George Mendes. I thought we had a decent relationship with Sporting. We've signed so many players from them, but. So is this something that maybe is to help Gyökeres? Is it to help Sporting? Is it to help us? I don't know what George Mendes is doing in there. Maybe he's
George
just
Mendes
like a third
is going to
party.
Send him to Wolves. He's going to go to Wolves.
He's going to go to Wolves. Yeah, why not? I'm George Mendes FC out here. Interesting. I did read that Arsenal and Benjamin Sesko have pretty much reached an agreement. That's coming from Bild. And Bild also says that Arsenal basically told Leipzig that they're going to be paying their price that they want. So seems like, Arsenal have been chasing Benjamin Sesko for a while. So it's interesting. Arsenal, aside from these couple midfielders they've signed, it seems like Arsenal are really concentrating on younger players, which could shoot them in the foot. The more young players you get, the less experience you have on the pitch, the less experience you have competing for titles and things. Mm-hmm. We knew that Leipzig are probably going to be losing a couple players because they're not in Europe next year, something we are familiar with. But would you have taken Sesko? Was he ever on your list?
He was, but he wasn't like the main one. Honestly, I was looking more when we got the links with Mbuemo. I was really happy, as we were talking about earlier, because I think he'll be really good for us. But Arsenal have to sign all those young players since we took all their good ones.
Yeah, we can keep taking them, man. And that's the thing, and it's so funny, these Arsenal fans trying to banter us for getting like Aiden Heaven or Cheeto, and I'm like, you guys keep signing these youngsters. What else are these young players supposed to think? Like, they have a pathway here. We've literally given the most minutes to young players, and like that's just in our blood. It's not in Arsenal's blood. Aside from Saka, and now you've got Wanyeri. Like, I can't think of many other Arsenal academy players that have actually come through and been pushed through and been like embraced and built around or anything. They got lucky with Saka. That's about it. Does City even play with youngsters? Like, I'm trying to think of any academy, like Foden maybe.
Yeah, they promote a couple, but not to the same degree.
McAtee might be leaving.
Yeah, I think he is. I think I saw somewhere he's Wolves.
I don't even know.
Somebody was looking at him. But.
Yeah, City don't get enough shit for selling Cole Palmer, in my opinion. But whatever. What about Ekitike? Are you a fan of Ekitike?
Yes and no. I think in terms of the speed, the creativity he's got, the dribbling. I think the dribbling in and around the box will be good. He's good with his feet.
Yeah,
that will be a positive if we would sign him. He's young.
Yeah,
could be a problem.
He's young, so I think a lot of people are drawing the Højlund comparisons already.
Yeah, and he didn't. His XG was 20 goals, and he only got 15.
So. Yeah, I'm not as sold on him. For me, he is a Højlund. He is someone who, I know he's older than Højlund was when we signed him, but they're that. But you guys know how I feel about one season, breakout seasons. I need to see more, and I readily admit that there's always a risk with that. You know, someone else could come scoop him up. Someone else could take that chance. I need to see a bigger sample size before I can say this player's got it or something. I didn't know. Paul Hurst claimed today too. So we saw a lot of this €100 million, €85 million. Now Paul Hurst claims that Frankfurt would be more amenable to a fee similar to what they got for Omar Marmoush, which was around 63 million. Does that change anybody's minds out there? 85 million was just too much to get for someone who's had one half decent season out there. Again, the example I throw out there all the time with these one season wonder strikers is Andrea Bellotti, and it could very easily go one or two ways, and there's not enough sample size to make it to me any more than just a spike in a trajectory. It could be an upward trend, but it's just a spike right now. So as we saw another spike when he was before he went to PSG, and then that didn't turn out that well. So I don't see anything in that personally, and he wouldn't be my top choice. You guys know my top choice would be Gyökeres, and then I'd probably go Osimhen, and then Jonathan David. But if we're looking at finances, I like Jonathan David a lot. If we're looking at finances and we still want quality and still want to strengthen, then Jonathan David's your guy. Free agent, like, you can't go wrong there. And I do think that because if we didn't have Cunha and Mbeumo, I would absolutely be going all out for Gyökeres. But like you said, getting the Cunha and Mbeumo, I think that it does give you a little bit more wiggle room. Obviously, we want the best of the best. Just you're not always going to get the best of the best. This isn't Ultimate Team. It's just not going to happen. So Chris says, if we get Mbeumo, we need a false nine in the mold of Kane. Big ass. But we already have a guy in Xerxes. Yeah, Xerxes is definitely that 9.5 for sure. Guys love that. So I wish I was wearing my 9.5 shirt. So Osimhen, are you a big fan of Osimhen? I have a mosquito bite. Awesome.
I mean, if we can get him for a halfway decent price, I'd love to have him. He's proven. We've seen him do well in Italy. We've seen him do well in Turkey. Not that the Turkish league is as good, but the atmosphere is different over in Turkey. You gotta be tough to play there. So that could be, if we can get him for a decent price, I'm fine with that.
Turkish fans are crazy.
Oh yeah.
The price I'm not too worried about with Osimhen. It's his wages that concern me. Now you could argue on its face that. You could argue on his face a 26-year-old with his numbers is probably going to be earning anywhere between 250 to 300 at this. Like, that can be expected. I just don't know if we're in a place where we can do that. And I'm not. I think we're getting away from that as a club. I think we're not trying. Now, some players do have big wages. Now, this happened before Ineos and people got here, other than Bruno. But Bruno's kind of earned it a little bit. And he's committed his future to the club. He was going to be paid more than double what we're paying, and he said, "No, I'm good. I'm going to stay here." So I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. It's very rare to see that kind of loyalty in football these days, especially with the talent that the Saudi league is hoovering up. But it doesn't seem like everyone's happy. We talked the other day about John Duran's already reportedly wanting to leave the Saudi league. Surprise, surprise. 20-something, 21-year-old goes there and wants to leave already. So it's ridiculous what's going on over there. Yara wants to know something about the club. I don't watch the Club World Cup, man. I have no idea what's going on with Pachuca and Salzburg personally. The only thing I care about with Salzburg is some of the young talent got going on out there. But that's what my guy Christopher Vivell is here for. Big up Vivell doing the Lord's work, getting us these young players. Dude, Sekou Kone is about to be the truth. I think we should definitely build around this kid.
Oh, yeah.
Casper says, Ekitike, no. Oshman, I don't think we'll sign any of them. So who does that leave us with? Nobody wants you. A lot of people don't want Gyökeres because they don't want to be Arsenal sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
Osimhen could be too expensive. I haven't heard anything about Jonathan David. Period. Ekitike is the only one that we've been, aside from Gyökeres, that we've been super linked with. Who else is out there? Like Ollie Watkins? I have no idea.
Yeah, but then I thought Newcastle maybe were going for him, but I mean,
he would go there. He would go there to be number 2.
Yeah, unless if Isak moves, it's more like if Isak moves, they're going to go for Watkins.
Isak's not going anywhere. He's going to cost like $200 million.
Yeah.
Who's going to be paying for City? Oh. Who knows? Kachala Ramos is another one that's been thrown out there. Now, I was a huge fan of him at Benfica, but like a lot of like Darwin Nunez, the leap from Benfica to the bigger stage has seemed. Now, to be fair to Kachala Ramos, unlike Darwin Nunez, Kachala Ramos does seem to score when he gets minutes. He just hasn't got a lot of minutes. Going to a club at the time at PSG that had Mbappe, that had Messi, that was also had Kolo Muani brought in, like that was going to be a big ask. But it is. I like Gonçalo. If you can get Gonçalo Ramos back to his Benfica form, I think you'd have an excellent striker there. It's a big risk. It would depend on price for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't pay more than $40 million for Gonçalo Ramos, just based on what the lack. But he's got goals and stuff. I don't want to do PSG any more favors. We already overpaid a little bit for Ugarte, and in doing so, allowed them to get João Neves, which Danny's going to come up here with an emoji here in a second. Now that I've said that, just wait for it. You'll see it in a second. Rob says Osimhen is worth it and the star quality we need rather than that £100 million risk of Ekitike. Yeah, Ekitike is definitely risky. I mean, honestly, there's no guarantees. You never know. But I do agree with you that I do think that Osimhen is a player that I don't think is going to be weighed down by the shirt, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's someone I think could come in and would embrace the pressure of doing that at Old Trafford, unlike some of these younger players. And even some of the older players we've seen shy away from that a little bit. He's someone who I think would love it. I think he would do just fine. But again, going to be expensive wages-wise. So Chris says Osimhen, Isak, and Haaland are the best number 9s on the planet. Yeah, Haaland is a freak. But Haaland's got to have the ball. Haaland's not the kind of striker who's going to drop deep and create. If you ever when City drop points, look on FootMob, and no doubt you'll see Haaland had the fewest touches of any player to finish the match. Haaland needs to have the ball, and he's definitely an old school 9 for that. But I'm not saying he's bad. I think our system requires a little bit more, but he's definitely the best. I would put Lewandowski in there as well, personally. Where are we at right here? So we're talking about Osimhen, Ekitike, Gyökeres. We do need to sell players, though. Malacia, Sancho, Rashford, Antony, Garnacho. These guys, they need to go. We can't do this anymore. I mean, I saw some interest in Sancho from Villa, Napoli, the Saudi League and stuff. What do you think is going to happen with Sancho?
The only thing I think is going to happen is probably the Saudi leagues take him.
Yeah.
Because I don't see Napoli taking him. I don't see Villa taking him. I think that's all just conjecture. Saudi might at the end of the window, just because. But
yeah.
I don't.
Nobody can afford the wages. The only place that can afford the wages is the Saudi league, and this is a problem that I've said many times. It's just we shoot ourselves in the foot, and this is why we're in a PSR situation, because nobody can afford them. These players will just run down their contracts, and at this point, Sancho is entering the final year or so of his contract. Like, would you just say F it and just get him out of here just to get him off the wages? I mean, take a huge loss. I mean, we're already taking a loss. We've already just bite the bullet, and
I might
right.
just to get him off the wages. So
I just don't want us to be sitting here in August trying to figure out who's going to buy these guys. We need to, because I don't want that to hurt us from and keep us from buying other players. We've already saw it before with McTominay and Ugarte, with Wan-Bissaka and Mazraoui. Like, I desperately want us to avoid this whole sell to buy shit that we've been dealing with the last couple seasons, really. And it's our own making. It's not, Ineos didn't do this. This is the previous regime. Like, but it's still there, and we've got to figure it out. I wish there would have been a better plan for Rashford when it was clear that he wasn't in Ruben Amorim's plans. Garnacho, and these agents need to be doing more. And I mean, get it? You're getting paid $300K a week. You're not like you want it, right? You want to keep getting paid, so I can understand it. If Sancho just chills and just collects a paycheck, I mean, we only have ourselves to blame. But at the same time, it's just a sad situation. So. It's really bad. Chris says Osimhen's a fox in the box, best striker in the air. I've seen some crazy headed goals from Osimhen, man.
Yeah.
Some crazy. That's what I like about strikers, though. When you score the kind of goals that you really nobody has the right to score. Like there would be a ball. I've seen Osimhen score these headers that were so high and moving away from goal, and I'm like, well, that's gone. And he gets in the air, he gets his head on it, and somehow just cushions it into the back of the corner or something. I'm like, dude, like, come on. That's like CR7-esque right there, man. That's not cool. Keepy Uppy's in the box and crossing it for I think I feel like I've seen that. I can't remember off the top of my head that I can kind of picture it, but I think I know what you're talking about. You remember that Odion Gallo goal? Who was that last? Is that who was against? Where
he
like get a Keepy Uppy with himself and put that in. Odion Gallo. Big up, Odion.
Birthday today or yesterday, so happy birthday really? To Odion.
Nice. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sancho, Rashford, Antony lining up for preseason. I think a couple of them traveled, didn't they?
Yep.
Now, I did see that Antony and Sancho's names and numbers they're not in the United store. Like, you can't get them on the new kit, but Rashford's you can. So, okay. I don't know what that means. Like, Mbuemo's name and number were removed from Brentford's website, so that to me was telling, and that was last week we were talking about that. So I don't know. Take that any way you want to, but it doesn't seem like Sancho and Antony are in. So interesting stuff. We have a new midfield link. Now, this midfielder I have spoken about on the channel before. I featured him last season in one of my scouting videos on defensive midfielders back when we were linked with guys like Yusuf Fofana and stuff. So this is coming from Photomac. They report that Manchester United are interested in Gabriel Serra from Galatasaray, and Galatasaray reportedly want 30 million euros. What is that, like 25 million pounds? Yet another center midfielder with excellent ball progression, and he's got the physicality we're looking for. He used to play for Norwich before he went to Galatasaray. Like I said, I have featured him on the channel before. So another similar, it's basically a very similar midfielder to what we're looking at. The kind of midfielder that Amorim likes. Bit of physicality, ball progression. Old school, Scholesy, Kino kind of midfielder. Those are the kind of midfielders we've been linked with. The Yasharis, the Hackneys, all these guys. These are like, and now the Gabriel Serra. Dean Jones claims that we've reignited our interest in Palmeiras midfielder Richard Rios. Remember when we were linked with that guy last year, that guy who used to play like street ball and then got picked up and everybody was clamoring for him compared to Pogba and stuff. Don't ask me about his FC25 rating because Palmeiras aren't in the game, so I don't know what to tell you. But loads of midfielders linked. You know, we're just, again, it doesn't seem like we're quite ready to pull that trigger. I think that is a situation now with Cunha, Mbuemo, striker. I think that was the priority, and we need to make some sales first. And I think if we make some sales, we might see a midfielder be brought in. I would love to see Onana replaced. I'd love to see a better left back, like an older, more experienced left back. Leaf Davis, somebody like that. We need to clear the dead wood first. But in terms of, you mentioned midfielders, who do you like in midfield?
We've talked about him before. I really like Ederson from Atalanta.
Okay.
I know that one would be expensive, but I think the ball progression, the box-to-box space would help out. We could also move Bruno up a little bit more for that dynamic attacking when we would need that.
This is why I like the 3-5-2, because you get the 8s and the 6, and instead of just having, I think you lose a little bit from Bruno when we play him deep, and I think
Oh yeah.
he's the only one who can progress the ball from deep. So another midfielder who can do that would be excellent. Someone who's a little bit more
100%.
mobile than Casemiro. I mean, Casemiro still got it in him on his day, but he's not. I don't trust him as the last line of defense in that midfield personally. Chris is giving Gallo his flowers on his birthday. Big up. Rob says Javi Guerra is a name I've heard is linked to. I think he plays for Valencia. We've been linked to that guy a couple times. I think the first links to him started a couple years ago. Javi Guerra. Good little player. I don't mind him. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Hayden Hackney personally. You guys know Arden Yashari is one of my favorites. Casper says controversial, not a big fan of Ederson. I've seen mixed opinion on Ederson. Some fans really love him. Some fans are not so keen on him. I haven't watched enough of Atalanta to see. I know he's, again, a lot of these midfielders we're looking at, though, they are a little older. So Richard Rios, 25, I think. Gabriel Serra, 25. Ederson, 25, 26. I think Hackney's like 23 now. So not young. And I think that you can, I think that's maybe why it makes me think that holding out for like a top player maybe for next summer, maybe January, but unless the funds clear up. But you like Ederson, I like Hackney. Hackney is homegrown as well. Hackney's ball progression numbers are freaking insane. Very good for Middlesbrough. So interesting stuff though.
Permanent Hayden Hackney watch, just remember. So
on permanent Hayden Hackney watch. I mean, Carrot got sacked, so we don't know what's going on at that club. So he was at Soccer Aid though, so
could be the perfect time to swoop in.
It would have been great if we would have moved a little sooner. We could have gotten the Carrot hook up there. So, and then Danny, you'll be happy to hear. So we switching from midfield to right midfield. So Graham Bailey claims that we are still interested in considering Braga winger Roger Fernandez as an option this summer. I know we were linked with him in the past. It's very similar to Giovanni Quinda in terms of just that role they play. Reportedly, we've had scouts in attendance to watch Fernandes play for the under-21 Euros. Again, very, very similar to Giovanni Quinda, except he's a little bit more defensive than this. So this is what Graham Bailey had to say here. So he says, we understand that United like Fernandes a lot and believe that he will be a good fit into the Ruben Amorim system, which means United have been keeping tabs on him over in Slovakia. So during the Euros here. Plays for the under-21s for Portugal. United are following him closely. However, there are doubts around whether a wingback is on the cards this summer. So it's interesting to hear Graham Bailey claim that the wingback's not on the cards because we were in for Giovanni Quinda back in January. So how could it be not in the cards, right? Was he anybody you were watching back in January when we were linked to a couple of them?
I watched a little bit just to know kind of who he was. I didn't watch too much, but I liked what I saw. A little fearful that just being young, I'd almost want somebody a little older just to keep the team.
Well, remember Dallo's still here. So.
Yeah, we're trying to promote youth too, and I'm like, if we keep getting a lot of younger guys, that may not be what we need for the team to have. But I like he's good on the ball, he's creative, and he's versatile. So that would be a positive if we did get him. So somebody, if we can get him for the right price, I'd be happy to have.
I just would prefer, like you said, to promote someone like a Montato or a Camison. I think Camison can come in and do. He's old. Camison's older than Giovanni Quinda, and I think he's doing very good. So I looked at Roger Fernandes' numbers and compared them to Giovanni Quinda's because again the similarities there. Portuguese league, very very young, same position. Roger Fernandes is a little bit more old school fullback than Giovanni Quinda, so you can see his numbers are in the red. Got more tackles and more interceptions, more of the tackles going on there than in clearances and blocks. Whereas Giovanni Quinda's got more of the assist and like the creation, the shot creation. So. Where you're going to get Giovanni Quinda is probably a little bit more like an Ahmad. Roger Fernandes is probably going to be a little bit more like a Dallo or like just a Dorgu kind of thing. So little different profile. If you look at the two we've been linked with, again, I think Camison's. I would just promote Camison. I'd rather go for an older left back than another right wing back or right winger, if that makes sense. But that's just me. I do watch a lot of the academy, so you guys know that I'm a big fan of Camison and Montato. So, but. Do you think we'll sign anybody this week, Dylan?
The only one I can see is in Buemo, and I'm hoping it, Friday, Saturday. Maybe we can get that done. If we can get that done, I'm going to be a very happy man. I think that's 35 goals that could help us next year. So
yeah, that's dude. Him and Quinn. I said before, him and Cunha together this past year scored like 9 fewer than we did as a team. Like, it's embarrassing.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing. Casper wants to know if we can get Lamine Camara. I would love Lamine Camara. I did a scouting report on him the other week. You guys know I like Lamine. Again, another physical mid-ball progression midfielder. I did that other player from Agume from Nice as well. So very big. Chris says we could use Garnacho as a makeshift plus 20, 30 million on our way for Martinez. We're going to talk about Martinez because Onana's been a little bit of a hot topic. Cryptic statement made during a trip to Africa. He was asked, are you staying? And he said, I don't know. We'll see. Very interesting to hear a player say that. But Ben Jacobs popped up today and says Emiliano Martinez has made it clear that he is interested in completing a move to United. Villa have refused to rule out granting this wish. It would take close to £40 million to get Emi Martinez. United have not made a final call on replacing Onana. Emi Martinez, free agent, any day of the week, get rid of Onana. Emi Martinez, anything more than like 15, 20 million? No, not doing it. Guy's 33. He's on the decline. You can't deny that he's not on the decline. I'm here for the shithouse. If you were free, it's a no-brainer. It's just I can't do that. But I do need Onana to go. I mean, Tom Heaton's got a 1-year extension, so Onana's replacement's already here.
Yeah,
right?
We can't get rid of Tom Heaton, man.
I assume you're in the same vein as me. Get rid of Onana any way you can.
Yep, I would have bought him out. Just get him out of there.
I would treat him like you're taking like the kids to the dentist. You tell them you're going to Disneyland, and then you rock up to the dentist's office like, yeah, we're going on preseason tour. Let's go. And then you drop them off at like Galatasaray's door or something. Like, here you go, man. Drive them to Saudi.
That's how we get Osman.
There you go. Well, so I'm getting thunder here. Hopefully,
yeah, it got real. If you guys noticed, it got dark in my screen. The clouds have really come in here. So.
Awesome. Well, we're about wrapped up anyway, so hopefully we don't lose any power on you guys because we do live in Michigan and we all know how often we lose power. Casper likes Emi Martinez. I like Emi Martinez. I just don't want to pay any money for Emi Martinez if I can be spoiled little bitch about it. I don't want it, especially not £40 million. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Another player reportedly on the way out potentially is Sancho. We talk about Sancho. So Dharmesh Sheth with Sky Sports says Napoli are interested. He would need to lower his salary, but doesn't sound like he wants to do. Reportedly, we would take 25 million for him. Would you take 25 million for Sancho?
Yep, get him out of the club.
Yeah, get him out, just gone. Yep. 25 million is about what is that? Like almost twice as much as we pay him per year in a salary, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what a flop that transfer's been. Just an absolute flop. We've done so many bad transfers, and it's not saying necessarily the players themselves are bad. Like Casemiro, bad transfer. Pogba, bad transfer. Sancho, bad transfer. Just not good. Just totally not good, man. Lucky says get Ollie Watkins, Alejandro Garnacho. If Ollie Watkins wants to come and be a number 2, I'm all for it. If we sell Højlund and we can give Garnacho to Villa, because I do think he would suit Villa. 29-year-old Ollie Watkins wants to come in as number 2. And we still get someone like an Osimhen or Jonathan David, I'd be fine with that. Personally, I would be absolutely fine with that. But I don't know if I could rely on Ollie Watkins to be the number 1. And guys, I mean, not really. He was the only striker left because John Duran left, and they still brought in, Asensio and Malen and Rashford. I'm like, I think his chance to leave was when Arsenal were interested, and that just didn't happen. So. Luke, welcome 30 million plus Martinez. You guys are funny. Yeah, I'm not paying money for Martinez, but Sancho, get him gone, get Onana gone. I don't think that Mbeumo, Cunha, and a striker are going to be our only piece of business. I just do think we're going to have to wait to sell players first, unfortunately, which is going to be a bummer. We can't wait too late, though. We need to get players on preseason. We can't wait till the start of the season. We have a tough start to the season. Those first 5 matches are, according to Opta, the hardest of any team in the league. So what are you going to do? Lucky says 22 million pound Jadon Sancho been off worst transfer. I just didn't get that at the time. I didn't think we needed him. Ollie had already got Dan James, Palestri, and Ahmad, and then we still chased Sancho for a year. Like, it didn't make sense to me. 85 million, 300K a week is just so poor. Casper says, "Great show tonight and great show." I'm glad you guys are enjoying. This is
Thank
the
you,
Kickabout.
Casper.
This is the new show. We are trying to make this a weekly thing. Hopefully we can work that out schedule wise. I can't guarantee you it's always going to be on the same night, but we would like to do this. And maybe in the future we can have some more people on. You guys know that the Legends membership does allow you to join in. Maybe have Jeff come on one night and get involved and stuff. I would love it. That's the point of this. As you can see, it's pretty chill, pretty laid back. There's not a whole lot of structure to it. We're just kind of running through things. And basically, like a football on the pitch, we're just kicking these topics around back and forth and just sharing our thoughts. It's really chill, man. Let's see. Final piece of news. Our academy director, Nick Cox, is leaving, becoming Everton's technical director. So a bit of a step up for him. Sounds like he's going to be sticking around for a little bit to help with that transition. Is this a blow? Our academy has been impeccable for the last couple of years. So how much of that has been down to Nick Cox? If so, we need to get that replacement spot on. It's kind of been the phrase of the year. We need to get spot on, right? Are you worried at all?
Yeah, but that's just because I don't know the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, like you said, the academy's been impeccable. We have created very good young players, and I do give Nick Cox credit. I think he's run that organization well. But good for him. He's taking a job. It's going to be a good new experience, new challenge for him. Next step in the process for him. So congratulations to Nick Cox. I'm glad he's sticking around for a little while to help identify the new person. But it's going to hurt. I'm a little apprehensive just because let's hope we get somebody in there that's going to understand how to run the program well and promote from within like we have. So
we can get Nicky Butt back.
I take Nicky Butt back.
He was not too happy about being overlooked for a couple things, but whatever. I like Nicky Butt. I think he was underrated part of the academy for a while. Who knows? I mean, maybe Fletcher can step in as well. He's our one. I forget what Fletcher's. He's part of the coaching staff. That's all I know. So. Rob says, hit those like and subscribe buttons, United. Yes, please do, you guys. We are pretty much wrapping up here, you guys. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribing. The spiel, of course. Check out the memberships. You guys can get involved. It's more than just emojis and icons. You guys can get involved in the content, whether that's ideas for What If episodes. Remember, season finale of What If is dropping soon. What If the Glazers Didn't Buy United in 2005 is the season finale. So make sure that you guys check that one out. There's a lot of research went into that. It is like, it's not just me spouting out nonsense like I'm looking at clouds in the sky. A lot of these What Ifs are based on legitimate facts, you guys. I put quotes up there. I put all sorts of stuff up there. It's not just like crap. So I really have fun with those. Go check out GoGoalShop, you guys. Check out the links in the description. You can get Fanatics, you guys. I just got this on Fanatics. It just arrived today. Fanatics, this is the last day. They're doing like a $10 off coupon, so it is legit United gear. This thing is this year's kind of, they call it the Urban Purist shirt. It's made to look like this is white. This is like a lavender and a purple. So it's the first time I've worn like purple with anything. So it's interesting. So, but check all that out, you guys. And then there's a Fubo link in there if you guys want to watch some more matches on Fubo. So, yes, this has been the first episode of the Kickabout. I'm really, really. Dylan, how do you feel about it? You excited to be a little bit more of a regular?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love this. So, but I love coming on here and talking because it's nice to get away from work and everything else. Talk about a shared passion with you and everybody involved in the channel. So, thank you guys for being a part of this too.
Really, I know they love it, and it helps the channel because it makes it look like Christian Eriksen is joining in. So it's awesome,
dude. I'm wearing that jersey next year when we go. I'm gonna learn some Danish words,
dude. Remember that Jamie Vardy impersonator that was out there like 10 years ago?
Oh yeah,
dude. Yes, if we go, we're walking around. I guarantee you, we will get stopped. If we go to the mall, and we're going to the mall, you got to get on some of that duck burger at the mall. But it's gonna be funny. It's gonna. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking forward to that part almost more than the match because I just want to. It's like I'm gonna keep a little. I have a fish counter in my tackle box. I'm just gonna start clicking.
There you go.
Chris, big up Chris, man. Great format, guys. Light with the interaction. You guys know I love getting you guys involved. big up everyone getting involved. Luke says big chance we get Gyökeres. Menj is a super agent now involved. I would love that, man. We were talking about that. You guys know I do love Gyökeres. He is my big option here. But big up, you guys getting involved. Chris says youth coaches are only tangible 2 or 5 years later. Nicky Butt is tangible. I mean, he was in charge of the academy for a minute and then left. So Casher says Dylan does look like Christian Eriksen. Yes, he does. That is the running joke. But that's going to do it for us, you guys. Longer show tonight. They usually tend to be longer when Dylan's on because I could sit and talk to Dylan all night because the guy is an absolute gem of the United community. So we do appreciate this. Let me know, you guys, what you thought of the first episode of the Kickabout. Like I said, fully interactive, just chilling, not a whole lot of structure, but we have a lot of topics. But and then peer pressure Dylan into coming back and doing more. We believe in peer pressure here. It's the only way to get things done. So
I'm a teacher. It works very easily.
Yes, it works very easily.
You don't want to work today? Oh, okay.
That's fine. Dylan, any final thoughts on anything before I let you get going, man?
I am cautiously optimistic about our transfer business so far.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, if we get Mbeumo and we get Gyökeres, the hope's gonna kill me.
The hopium, right?
Yeah. But
Chris says this is the first. It is the first episode of the Kickabout, not the first episode of the channel. This is just, some channels do if you watch the United View, they have the red carpet where a ton of people come in, but they have their other stuff. That's kind of like this one. This is the first kind of co-hosted fully weekly segment that we're going to try to make more a regular part of the channel. But the channel's been around for a year now, a little over than that. So, but we're glad to see all the new faces. Dylan's cautiously optimistic. I have high demands. The Ineos need it's not their fault that they've got to do it right and they've got to move fast. They are making up for a lot of what we've done for the last several years, but they have to do it. They have no choice. This is the job now. So it's like when we make a signing, it's not Højlund's fault that he is the only number 9, but the responsibility is there nonetheless. So he's got to get it done. So it is up, man. So big up everybody. When we will be back. I mean, I'm usually here when there's some news. I don't like to just do 3 or 4 shows on the same exact rumor. I have too much respect for your guys' time. So when there's enough news to chat about or when there's breaking back, there is an episode of What If dropping sometime this week. It is a season finale of What If. If you want to get caught up on all those, they have their own playlist in the channel. So you can go get caught up on those. They're pretty short. But throughout the summer, we stop by with the transfer news and then we do the one-off exclusive videos here and there. Dylan will be back. We'll be doing once the end of the transfer window rolls around, we'll be rating the window and talking about our expectations for the season. We did not do an awards show this summer because, quite frankly, couldn't be ours to give the players any awards. I just went full UK there and said couldn't be ours. That did not mean for that to happen.
You are training for your new position. I like it.
It's so funny when I say fuck off to people. They take it really offensively, but I say it the way it's said in Europe and the UK, bullshit, basically. So it is what it is. But thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you, Dylan, for stopping by. We will be back to talk about news, hopefully to talk about Mbeumo when that happens. So keep a lookout. When there's enough news to talk about, I'll be back. But if there's not, I don't like to waste you guys' time. So in any case, thank you guys for stopping by. Subscribe on the way out, and we will see you guys on the next one. Later.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Sean. Have a good one, everybody.